What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. I am very happy to be back in action and even happier to be taking a look at this fine fella here. I'm almost completely recovered from COVID. I've moved out of my isolation chamber, so I'm feeling better in that regard. COVID is not fun. I definitely don't recommend it. If I could give it a Yelp review, it would be like a 0 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. But today we're looking at something pretty awesome. If you can tell what it is from that, cool. If not, we'll see the whole box once I get it out of its candy wrapper here. If I can, maybe. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Kablam. We are taking a look at this very heavy and very beautiful figure from Iconiq Studios. I'm really excited about this. Iconiq's relatively new in the 6th scale world. They have made a whole bunch of different stuff lately you can pre-order, but this was the first one that I saw that I was really impressed with. Now they did work with TV League to make a very unique body just for this figure. Now I imagine they'll probably end up using the same one when they do Ken. I believe Ken's the next one in the line, and I assume we'll get a Guki or a Kuma after that. I don't know if I'll get any of those. There is a Super Duck Sakura coming, so I've got that ordered. Let's see how this fella opens. Oh, wait a minute. That's just super cool. Alright, so you can actually do one of these. And this right here is your backdrop, which I'll try and leave up. Let's see how we can get this to work. So far, I'm pretty dang impressed. Alright, there's a lot going on here. There's a whole lot going on here. So we're gonna, you get this cool little credits, box credits thing. I like it. It's such a goofy and, like, normally this would just be a picture of the figure itself, but this is just a really cool insert. I fancy that quite a bit. I love that they've got the different moves there. That's fun. I like that. And then you do get a bunch of instructions on what to do and not to do with the body. One of the big things with these is that they are seamless, so you want to be kind of careful as far as how you're posing them, because over time that body can like rip and sort of shred a little bit. So you usually do try and do soft poses. You don't really want anything crazy like that. You could do that if you're posing them for like a quick photo, but just make sure you go back to a normal pose after that. You don't want to be too absurd. All right, this is awesome. They give you some fancy white gloves. I have never seen a company do that, so that's pretty dang cool. I have big oaf hands, but we'll test these fellas out. I'm excited about this. I don't think they'll fit. Oh, they might fit. Oh, look at that. Not the best, but hey, we're in business, folks. We're going to go ahead and use these. Why not? This is probably the greatest and simplest inclusion for any high-end collectible I've ever seen in my life. Other companies, I highly recommend you take note, because this is awesome. This figure is $300, which is realistically a lot of money. I spend probably more on toys than most people should. It's sort of my vice, so I don't necessarily mind that, but in the grand scheme of things, this is an expensive product, so using something like this when we're playing with them and posing them and all of that good stuff is not a bad idea. Now, it might make grabbing onto some of this stuff a little bit trickier. Probably should have thought about that ahead of time, but I've got an idea. Oh, it's like magic. All right, let's see here. We'll just do one of these little flipperino things here real fast. And we'll just start getting stuff on out of here. This thing is packaged really well. Iconiq, like, honestly, man, wow. All right, let's Set you back in there for a moment. I'm going to move this out of the way, if I can. Really quite, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm speechless, because obviously I'm talking, but holy cow. He's a very heavy boy, I'll say that much, but again, that's because of this crazy body that they did for him. And holy cow. Breathe, my friend, breathe. So this is just outstanding. I am blown away. Now you might see some like white powder and stuff on there. A lot of times they'll do like talcum powder and stuff like that just to kind of preserve the material. I do have a little bit of a rip there from the looks of it. It might just be some extra material. You can see it kind of stretch a little bit, maybe. Let's see here. Yeah, it's definitely part of the arm. I'll end up probably getting an X-Acto knife and trimming that off. Fortunately, it's in the back, so I don't really care. Honestly, that's one of those weird things where I wouldn't really fault people if they were like, I'm sending it back to get a perfect one. Honestly, you probably could in theory. To me, that's a little nitpicky, so I'm not going to do it. But holy cow. He does have a steel skeleton inside, pretty much the same as the normal bodies that they use, but just look at the way they designed this fella. This is the form of the muscles. Absolutely outstanding. Does this peel off easy? No, we'll have to pull your hands off. I'll leave that on for now. I'll take a look at the and he does feel like he's got a bit of restriction in his legs, which is kind of a bummer. I'm honestly having trouble getting him higher than that. So doing his kick would be difficult. You could probably play around with it quite a bit, though. Love how they dirtied up his uniform, too. I think that's fantastic. Like, just seeing the different comparison of white really goes a long way. A little gold on his belt. I mean, this figure is just absolutely beautiful. I'm really quite speechless over it. Look at how big those feet are. They did those spot on. He does have some massive kickers in the game, so I'm impressed that they did that. But honestly, just this thing is gorgeous. It really is. Now, Iconiq, I know you're probably not going to hear this or care, but please do Berserk figures. Like, if you can make that, you can make Guts. And that would be amazing. And I know I'm not going to be the only person that would think that. So just please, 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 please do that. Now, as for the accessories you get with this fella, you do get an angry face sculpt, which that looks kind of fun. It is in that bag pretty well. I don't know if I'm going to take it out just because how well they... No, that's depressing. So, unfortunately, Ryu just took a tumble. That's bound to happen in my videos, so not too surprised there. Let that be a lesson, folks. Use the base that he comes with. We'll take a look and see if he got hurt at all. I can't imagine he did. The backdrop might have gotten a little bit of scratches, but that's all right. We'll just move that out of the way for now. Ryu, my boy, what has happened to you? Anything? Yeah, I might have messed up his hair up there. Yeah, I think I gave him a little dink of paint there. Not the end of the world. I can pretty easily just, honestly, a Sharpie marker will cover that, so I'm not terribly concerned there. Obviously would have preferred if I didn't do that, but I'm stupid and do stuff often that I shouldn't do, so learn from my mistakes. And I will as well. You're going to stay there laying down while we take a look at your other goodies. He's got a whole lot of hands. A whole lot of hands. I see 8... plus another 2, so 10? Does he really have 10? Yeah, he totally has 10, but one of them is a cool double set for doing the Hadouken. So that's kind of awesome. They did 2 hands together, which will ensure that he's posed the right way. It might be tricky to put this on because you'll have to bend the arms in just the right position to get them into both of that. I feel like it would have been easier to just do two separate hands in that pose, but this does ensure you get the right look once you get them positioned that way, and it might not be too difficult at all. It'll be a fun one to play with. We'll take a look at one of the other hands just so you can see how incredibly detailed they went. They really did not mess around. So he's got a ton of different options. Pretty much able to do all of his main, like, he doesn't have a standard thumbs up, which is a little bit depressing, but all of his basic attacks, standard hand poses, taunts, stuff like that, you'll be able to do some variation of them with this, which pretty dang good in that regard. You do get some replacement feet, which we can take a look at. You also get his luggage bag. I honestly don't know if they use this too much in the games. I know he usually has it in like the intros when he's walking in. In the anime, you tend to see him use it. I think it's in the Street Fighter 2 movie, maybe the Alpha movie. It's been a while since I've watched both. But one of them, like, he keeps his passport and like all his basic gear in there. So that's kind of just his traveling tote. The alternate feet I do find a little bit odd. I want to take one out just to see why we get them, because I feel like there's not really much use for it. To be honest, it is very difficult to grab with these gloves on, but I'm still impressed that they included them. Alright, I'm going to cheat. Try using a hand. Grab the foot, which also did not work. Now we'll just do one of these little tip things here and hope for the best. Come on out, foot. Come on out. It is in there snug. I'm very surprised. Also, as I often say, I'm kind of stupid, so me not being able to get a foot out of the box, not the weirdest thing that's ever happened. I really don't want to spend too much time trying to get this foot out. So close, so very close. Alright, there we go. The juice is worth the squeeze, I suppose. Alright, so this would be if he's doing kicks or different stances. He's basically just got the bent toes. I probably could have put two and two together just by looking at it. But for those wondering, you do get replacement feet with bent toes if he's doing a stance. Or if he's kicking stuff. So, kind of nice. More importantly, you do get a nice dynamic stand, which has a really cool base, which we will hopefully pull out in just a moment. And probably more importantly, you get that hooping, which that we are absolutely taking a look at. Hopefully I won't drop, because I have a feeling if I do, it's not going to survive. We're going to handle with care with this one. That just looks outstanding. That is really, really cool. I'm hoping there's some instructions on the best way to actually pose this, because I would think logically you would want it coming out of these, but there's not really anything in there to do that with. You do get a little circle plate, so maybe you use that. Let's take a quick gander at the instructions, because I feel like that's going to be something that's covered, and I at least would like to have some idea. Oh, yeah, you just get a separate stand for it. So that's simple and easy. I did see the other little plate in there. Now it all makes sense. Also would explain why you wouldn't need to actually click it into those hands at all. Now the display base that you get, pretty darn cool. Just a really, really nice job on that. You get the cool front plate as well. So I really, really dig this. Other than me dropping it, which happens with most of my stuff, I have no real complaints. It was expensive, but honestly, the big price point is because of this body. This is as heavy, if not heavier, than a World Box body. Definitely outweighs the Omni-Man that I've got, which is surprising. Probably weighs more than King Shark. I'm really bummed about the hair, but life goes on. Really, really cool figure. Iconiq knocked it out of the park. Again, please, guys, if you do happen to hear this, get the Berserk license. Make all us Berserk fanboys incredibly happy. And if you don't, just keep on doing awesome Street Fighter stuff, because this is amazing.